Face reality, people. Movies are dead. Games are dead. Narrative? Dead.
Media is nothing but neural trigger response and viral conditioning.
Wait, what are you two talking about?
All right. And it's kind of hard to get off this LeBron James meta. It's just more shit just keeps floating around. I'm now seeing people talk about this in particular. Victor Conte talking to Jason Whitlock, where he asked him about LeBron James. Now, Victor Conte is like an expert on probably like physical, like supplementing, just in general, right? From healthy, just things that are like for that are legal and healthy for an athlete, and also he's an expert in the let's get Barry Bonds to become extra human. What do we call it? Do we call it? Is he an alien, extraterrestrial? Whatever the fuck Barry Bonds was, whatever he turned him into, Victor Conte can do that for you too. Not that he would. I think he went to jail for it. So, but I've known about Victor Conte for a long period of time, and this guy. I know people talk about Chael Sonnen. This guy is the actual threat to someone like LeBron James. If this guy gets mainstream fucking coverage, good luck, because he's an expert on it. He talks clearly, and you understand what he's saying. Even the things that are like scientific based, he'll explain it in a way that you just understand it. Like it makes sense to you, even if you're not an expert in that field. So he is a threat to any athlete that's fucking doping. And if they let this guy get anywhere near some sort of commission or something to where they change their testing standards, yeah, you might see some shocking things. But I've been saying this with the other videos about steroid use, and I try to use the LeBron James topic. I know people like talking about it specifically for LeBron James, but I like the topic for sports overall, especially as someone who's like a former athlete. Like I want to see what's behind the fucking curtain in sports in general. Like, who the fuck is cheating out there? Who's clean? On and so forth. That's like a question. Not that we're gonna really get those answers, even if Victor Conte did take over testing. I'm sure the cheaters will find a way around it. But you know, I would hope that the fans want to know too. I hope they aren't just like, I don't care. I just hate LeBron. That's why I'm looking at this story. I try to infuse in these videos more education on the topic. Just not that I'm an expert, but just like I've seen a decent amount of things to give you more range on this topic, and it's not just about LeBron James. Guess what? It could be MJ. It could be Kobe. Anthony said earlier. It could be a lot of athletes. It could be your favorite athletes. I mean, if in my mind, considering that Al Jazeera documentary where Peyton Manning's kind of caught red-handed, in my opinion, like it seems like it's circumstantial, but it's like kind of blatantly like yeah, he probably did some shit. And is Peyton Manning running 4 fucking 40-yard dashes? No, right? Or 4.2s? Does he have the cannon arm of cannon arms in the fucking NFL? No. He got by on being intelligent and stuff. But, you know, staying healthy, being able to stay healthy, or that L word, you know, longevity, are important for athletes' legacies, their ability to compete, their stats, their fucking winning, the amount of times they can maybe win championships because they get to play longer. And let's be honest, the length they get to keep other people out of that spotlight. Because, you know, because Peyton Manning's playing for fucking 50 years in the NFL. I guess Tom Brady did the same thing. But who knows? Maybe Tom Brady's on shit too. Never know. But yeah, it's a whole thing. And even with actors, right? Being able to get a role over someone because you look bigger and strong, you look like the fucking Hulk. Even with fucking YouTubers selling you fucking protein powders. Like, there's a reason to do this for people who want to make shit tons of money. So don't just isolate this to LeBron James, and don't like have a critical eye for for all athletes. And guess what? A clean athlete should welcome that. They should welcome the scrutiny of it, because they should want their sports clean so that they're not competing against the fucking Hulk, right? Or losing to the Hulk and losing out on their own, glory and legacy and all that shit. But all right, either way, here we go. Jason Whitlock talks about the Hollywood satanic agenda. He's going to talk to Victor Conte. He's going to ask him about LeBron James. Here we go.
So let me get specific.
Add some volume to this.
Being fair, what do you think of all the conversation around LeBron James? Kevin Garnett makes a statement during a podcast that LeBron's on that new Balco, blah, blah, blah. And there's been a lot of rumors and speculation, and the whole biogenesis, I think, DEA investigation, people attached to LeBron were connected to that. I'm trying to ask that's fair to LeBron.
that Balco, that new juice.
Should we be suspicious of the longevity of LeBron's?
That's hilarious.
Yes, there's reason for suspicion. Okay. I want to be fair to LeBron. There is no evidence that I know of that's conclusive. And we have to factor in what they call the standard. Like you have the beyond a reasonable doubt in criminal court. You have the preponderance of evidence in a civil court. Then you have what they call comfortable satisfaction that arbitrators use in the world of sport. These things that you just mentioned, his manager, his agent, his wife, his trainer, all being connected to the biogenesis clinic, as well as another drug dealer at a gym. So it wasn't just biogenesis, there was another connection as well. And then some of this testimony that, his agent on a monthly basis was going by the biogenesis clinic and picking up a package of PEDs with the initials LJ on them. So when you take all this information and put it together.
Hold on, Victor. That he was probably picking up for Lamar Jackson. Right? No, is that maybe that's
could be
Lamar Jackson? Yeah.
We're back to the comfortable satisfaction. But I'm just adding all of these things that bring this cloud of suspicion. That's what you asked me about. Should they be suspicious? And the answer is yes. I'll tell you something else. When Chael Sonnen, the UFC MMA fighter who works for ESPN, said, I'll tell you exactly what he's taking. He's using EPO. And how do I know? Because I'm using the exact same supplier to get EPO. Why have you or other journalists not went to Chael, got him on your show, and asked him to please explain who this guy is and how he knows that LeBron James is using it? I have not heard LeBron James dispute that. Not a peep, have you?
Oh, shit. No. The fuck did it? Whatever. LeBron is never going to answer that. He's never going to answer for it. It hasn't reached him yet. I'm sure he's aware of it because he has probably people that scour social media and all that shit. He has friends, he has family, he has all this shit. Right? Someone's letting him know that this story is starting to bubble up. Right? If he looks his own name up on fucking YouTube, these type of things are coming out, bro. But it hasn't reached him to where like he has to account for it. And here's the thing. Maybe because I'm just a pessimist, I was assuming nothing burger. Like it's just gonna, it'll fade away and no one will be talking about this after a while. There'll just be some sort of urban legend on the internet somewhere. But I keep hearing about it. I keep hearing about LeBron, Lebalco, steroids. I keep hearing these things, not just from people making videos, but comment sections of people who are talking about LeBron. Not anything to do with LeBron sucking, nothing to do with LeBron taking steroids, nothing to do with LeBron cheating, nothing to do with LeBron flopping. All things that are like positive achievements about LeBron James. I see people in those comment sections talking about, well, LeBron's on steroids, that's why his longevity is so good, and LeBron's on EPO, that's why his longevity. And it's like, this does not appear to be going away. This is going to stick for a decent amount of people, and it could actually be increasing to where maybe one day, LeBron plays a game and he's in the locker room and he's surrounded by the journalists and shit like that, and like, what do you think about the rumors about you and EPO, you and this drug or that drug? Chael Sonnen, like Victor Conte said, why haven't you journalists had Chael Sonnen on and ask him exactly what's going on here? Like, well, guess what? Chael Sonnen might start getting more interviews just to be asked about this question. Like this, I'm not going to call it a forest fire yet, but it's a decent-sized fire in a forest, and if that shit starts spreading, if the winds take it, good fucking God. I mean, the Mitchell report was one thing where that's a very big story with Mitchell report. But if it's LeBron James and this becomes a mainstream topic, and if he got caught, witnesses start popping up, it's the Omega story in sports, bro. It takes over everything that has been built up with LeBron James all these years, and he's the face of the NBA, and he's, the most points ever. Like, they're number one. Like, think about it, how it compares to Barry Bonds, the number one home run hitter, the number one point scorer in the NBA. Like, oh my God. This story be massive. Super massive. Like, holy shit.
Well, it's like, oh, he spends $2 million a year to take care of his body. Like, how much is that dedicated to these kind of substances?
I mean,
what do you think he means?
Bro, it will be a dark time in the NBA. Because once the head of the snake goes, like LeBron, if LeBron goes, now everyone else is getting looked at.
Yeah, more.
Yeah. Now everyone's a suspect. Oh my God. This could. If this fire spreads, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, it'll be a holiday for some people. For me, for like just interest in sociology and psychology and all that shit, just my interest in that, it'll be interesting for me. But other motherfuckers, it'll be fucking. They'll be throwing their shirts like, let's party. They'd be in the streets flash dancing, bro. The world would change, bro. The world of sports would change. Like, first we had baseball. Baseball went downhill. No one cares about baseball anymore. Then LeBron James was the biggest names in athletics. I saw someone's I think it was Two Raw's video. Like, LeBron's about to become a two billionaire.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, if he gets caught with it, like, oh, yo.
They won't let that happen, Jordan. And my suspicion is they won't let it happen. And if it does happen, they'll sweep it under the rug. I think that's where we're at in society.
Maybe, but it'll
manifest itself in a way where he can make it seem like, nah, that's not true, even if he is questioned on it.
I mean, but it won't matter. The culture would have changed around, like the Epstein thing, where it's like, oh, the story kind of went away, but it still became like a kind of a societal phenomena. Except this will be worse because it'll be even more openly talked about. I think, like, to where you're gonna see someone's opening monologue at Saturday Night Live making a steroid joke about LeBron James. Like, it'll just be open in front of everyone, even if the NBA does nothing about it. It'll still just be an open thing because it like the name is that big and the fall is that great. Right? There's plenty of like stay-at-home moms right now that don't give a fuck about basketball. They don't watch any basketball. But if LeBron James got popped and they made it into this and it became this giant story, which it would, these people will be talking about it, bro. Moms will be talking about it. Like, oh yeah, that LeBron James thing. Ha ha ha.
They won't let it happen, bro. They won't let it happen.
They have to. They have to build the wall, and NBA would have to build the wall. Nike would have to build the wall. They'd have to All
Like
partnership.
Nike will hire fucking assassins, bro. Are you crazy? They gotta keep this shit on the wrap.
Shit. He'd have to retire like tomorrow if he got caught. He'd have to retire like the day after, and then fucking. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, all right. Let's hear more. Let's hear a little more.
Now,
So when something comes out, now I want to be fair to him, but let me tell you something else I know. Right before I got on this program, I called and I talked with a writer. There's a lot of articles out there. In fact, I even sent some of them to you in preparation for this case, for this interview. This writer was on this case, this investigation for 6.5 years. The word that he used was that ESPN basically blocked him from saying certain things in his articles and his reporting.
Not surprised.
He was
At all.
blocked. He said there was much more in terms
They
of
own the rights to
information
NBA
and
games, of course.
Exactly, but if that, I'm telling you, if the fire spreads to where all the internet, from older to younger, from old heads, 90s fans, to the new era of NBA fans, all talking about it and all giving it like credibility, not just talking about it, but like man, this looks to be the case.
Perception is reality.
Well, I'm saying if it spreads that far, ESPN, all they're doing is fucking burying themselves. They'll be sports CNN at that point, which I think they kind of already are, but they'll be just ostracized and only watched by 70-year-old plus people at best. They'll get they'd get washed, right? If they don't talk about it a little bit, and then their competitors would be talking about it, right?
I don't know, because you got Dick Wright and Nick Wright on the other side.
Yeah, but
Colin Coward, he's a LeBron propagandist too.
I think Coward would turn.
The only guy that would take it was Skip.
Chris Broussard, who's on shows with these guys, right? I think he's on the show with Nick, right? Coward's his own thing, but like, how do you avoid this story when it's the biggest ratings getter? I would expect him to pick his career over LeBron James.
Nah, they won't do it until there's like bombshell reporting. It's like fuck, like yeah, there's no
key witness comes out of hiding, and
yeah, they have to. It has to be one of them. Be like, yo, fuck it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. To where the fire spreads so much that someone who knows something comes out of nowhere. Like, right, they hear about like, fuck, people are talking about this, so there's leeway for this, and I can fucking get TV interviews and all that shit. I'm gonna spill the fucking beans. Or someone LeBron screwed over that was working for him at some point when he was in Miami and all that shit, and maybe did a pickup for him once. Who knows? Who knows? Disgruntled fucking Tony Bosch. I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know that shit, that his wife and agent were implicated. I didn't know that.
Oh, there was the guy who did pickups, which I think is implicated. I guess he's talking about Rich Paul. I don't know.
Yeah, Rich Paul, yeah.
I don't know how much he's
Savannah?
involved.
Well, Savannah?
Maybe it's like fucking Peyton getting HGH delivered to his house in his wife's name.
Oh, she needed some estrogen.
Yeah, she needs some testosterone. You know? Needs some growth hormone.
And unfortunately, that's where the whole Bronny stuff comes. That conspiracy.
Oh, his heart. He had like random heart failure.
And he's a smaller kid. He's not 6'8".
Yeah.
He's got a lot of pressure on him.
But like, I think a guy like Victor Conte would be like, well, he took the wrong dosages or something. If that was the reason why his heart fucking failed, then I think he would say it's because of bad dosage or bad regimen on it. Like, that's not supposed to do that.
But just how we said in an earlier video, don't underestimate anyone at any level. We're taking these things like everybody's just trying to get a little bit better.
Oh,
Can't underestimate.
I know of guys at community colleges taking fucking shit.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
back when I was in
They're
school,
told, hey man, you take this, be able to train harder. Have small side effects.
yeah. And if you look at it, the only real difference is probably like what they do for workouts and shit. That's probably where they get fucked. Like, there's probably people taking things and not knowing how to work out and use it. They're just like, oh, I'll just get stronger just by taking this. Like, no, you got to do actual like workouts and shit like that. Like, these things are just here for your body to recover or to keep more stamina while you're working out, so you can build more muscle, build more fast twitch, and all that shit. Like, that's why Victor Conte, to me, is so important, because he's an expert in that area as well, right? He doesn't know, like, he's not like a personal trainer, but he knows, like, okay, when you take this should be your fucking heaviest workout week or some shit like that to get the most out of it.
Yeah, because the levels drop.
Yes. And the point is to use them to recover, and you want to get your heaviest workouts in where you're building the most strength, that strength just comes back like relatively quickly, or the muscle rebuilds relatively quickly, and you take it in this portion of your off season so that you'll be ready for game one, when the season starts. Right? It's A-Rod. Like, do I take gummies now? Like, he's on, like, A-Rod was on a fucking regimen, right?
Yeah.
And they were like trying to time these things to coincide with performance in the game. And if you have like a genius like Victor Conte, like scheduling these things out for you, it's like, yeah.
Even Tony Bosch too.
Yeah, or Tony
I don't
Bosch.
think nobody got caught under Tony Bosch. He just snitched on him.
Fucking gummies.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh, yeah.
We should watch that one day. The real time.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, where do I
HBO.
get some? What do they
that
do?
shit. You'll start dying. You'll start laughing, bro.
What do they do?
They were, I think they were microdoses of testosterone, correct?
Yeah.
That's
Or
wild.
maybe amphetamines. Either way, he's like on a schedule, and he's like, he would just send a text to this Tony Bosch guy saying like gummy or no, like take one today or no. And I think he did these in the dugout.
And and he was out in that bat, and he hit like 110 mile an hour to the deepest part of Miami. And he's like, "Yo," he's like, "Man, the gummies got me feeling."
Jesus Christ, man! Sports is dirty as fuck, man. Let's be honest. It's probably as dirty as politics, just in a different way.
Man, I'm trying to get some gummies. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, here we go.
Innuendo, but they were unwilling to allow him to print this in his articles. So now we've got, later I'll talk to him and see if I can get some of the specifics.
Just like
but
politics.
He said, listen, there's more to this than you know. So whatever that means, is that enough to say that LeBron James is guilty of using PEDs? Certainly not. But I believe this does need to be followed up, and more questions need to be asked by people like yourself.
I'm going to say this real quick. If that fire gets big enough, and someone like that guy, right, who did some investigating, who probably has names and all that shit, right, but ESPN wouldn't let him print it, right? But now we have the internet where this guy can go independent and put some shit out, like, on his own.
Yeah.
And you have the internet fucking screaming for it. It's like, well, like right now there's someone looking up this guy. Like,
it's almost like in my eyes, like, oh, it comes out on ESPN, Fox Sports, whatever, CNN. Like, I don't give a shit. I'll go to the internet first. Like, I'm getting my cues from the internet. I'm not getting it from cable television.
Most people are. Someone's gonna make a TikTok.
I don't watch cable television.
Yeah,
Like these shows in the morning, I don't watch these shows in the morning. You got to tell me, or other channels got to tell me what's going on because I'm not watching.
Me neither. I gotta find like if there's like a clip recommended, maybe I'll click on
Yeah, that's the only way.
it. But yeah, like, oh man, if think of that shit, where it's because you're gonna see people doing like YouTube shorts and TikToks where they try to sum it all up in 1 minute, but the point gets across. Like LeBron was caught with this. I'm telling, it'll spread all the
Well,
fuck
yeah,
over.
there's no editorial rooms. Like, yeah, little weasel. Like, yeah, we shouldn't do this. It's bad for business. Like, there's no little middleman filtration system to make sure certain news doesn't come out.
No fucking no editors, no nothing. You just
No.
somebody try to get views, and they'll push the most crazy shit to get fucking views.
Sometimes it's real.
And sometimes it's real. All right, a little more of this. Just a little more. Here we go.
A lot of people, particularly like in the 90s when this conversation was really piping hot, it's like people, okay, yeah, Olympic athletes use steroids or PEDs, baseball players home run chase, they use it, and football players. It's like people thought like, well, basketball players, they're too athletic. They don't need to use performance enhancing drugs.
No, they looked at them like they're
There's
too
no
skinny
reason.
compared to.
And then Derrick Rose, at the
Go tell
apex
that
of his
to
career,
Lance Armstrong.
he complained and said, like, man, I think like 70% of these guys are cheating in some capacity. And I don't think people fully grasp that performance enhancing drugs help basketball players just as much as any other sport.
Absolutely. EPO, like Chael Sonnen said, the big three are growth hormone, testosterone, and EPO. And let me explain why those are the big three. Because they're what is called endogenous hormones. Your body produces those naturally. So when you add exogenous or from the outside, regardless of the delivery system, a needle, a cream, a pill, inserting a troche, whatever it may be, they have difficulty differentiating between what your body produces and what comes from outside. So you've got these allowable limits there, and they're lenient, let's put it that way. So does it give you the opportunity to use these drugs? And like I said before, as an example with testosterone, if you normally make 7 milligrams a day of testosterone and the allowable limit is 28, why can't you push it up to 21 and triple your testosterone level and still be below the allowable limit? Let me also talk for a moment about growth hormone. This is important. They have a new species. I don't know how new it is, but
Sorry. Yeah, he pointed that out about the testing of the three major sports: baseball, basketball, football, where you're allowed 4 times the fucking limit. Like you're allowed 4 times the testosterone of a normal person.
And why, Jordan? Why would they do that?
Because they probably know what's going on in sports. They know what's going on, and they see the product.
Yeah, they initially made a test, and they tried to make it let's say it's 7. And 7 was literally 90% of the league was not under 7. So then they had to raise it up. And then even then, some people fail. Like in baseball, idiots still fail.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Football,
Think like people like even with a novice understanding, think about what testosterone is as far as like you just naturally producing it. Now imagine just injecting 4 times that amount, like having 4 times the amount in your body, and then when you go to a testing facility, you're like, yeah, you're good. Like, yeah, you're good. Having 4 times, like that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Sorry for pausing it, but that need to be like,
yeah,
like let that sink in type shit. But all right, he's gonna go on.
why can't you push it up to 21 and triple your testosterone level and still be below the allowable limit? Let me also talk for a moment about growth hormone. This is important. They have a new species. I don't know how new it is, but newer than regular growth hormone. And it's called IGF-1, which stands for insulin-like growth factor 1.
Oh,
and it's a
God.
specific type called long R3. Now, the difference is growth hormone is in milligrams and IGF-1 is in micrograms. It is much more potent, okay? Here's the take-home message. You ready, Jason? You can buy it online. You can buy it from a pharmacy over the counter in Mexico. It's readily available. It's more powerful than growth
There
hormone,
was no test.
and they have no test for it. It's undetectable.
Get fucking wrecked, life. Get wrecked, your average sports fan. If they hear about, they have no fucking clue. I'm telling you, they're falling for the YouTuber doing 20 push-ups a day. Like, look, I turned my body into just with 20 push-ups a day. They're falling for these guys. They're falling for, look at the 80-inch vertical of some fucking bird. Like, they're buying into these things. How's he that big and that fast at the same time? Like, well, I mean, there is a natural factor to it. I'm not saying everyone's cheating, but like,
Yeah, sounds fine.
I mean, come on, man. Come on. That brings up the Canelo thing with the fucking.
The tainted meat.
I think he lives in Mexico, right? He probably has houses in the U.S. too, but I'm sure he like mainly lives in Mexico. This dude tests positive, but he had a bad steak. You know, that
steak had a syringe in it.
Yeah, that cow is out there. He's fucking trying to show off. He's fucking popping needles, hitting
bodybuilders,
hitting 500-foot home runs, fucking flexing on everyone, bro. You know, he's hanging in the back of Gold's Gym and shit like that. And you know, he had a heart attack because he had so many steroids in his body. He died, and then he got cut up, put into a fucking package, and Canelo found him, bro. It's like, ended up on Canelo's plate. Poor cow, man. But that cow's a fucking cheater. Canelo's cool though. He's fine. He's a clean athlete. That cow though, that cow's a fucking cheater.
If anything, Canelo's a victim.
That cow's on all types of PEDs. Canelo. This is the price. What happens with steroids?
An innocent bystander. He got a stray. Stray of syringes.
He's the victim of that cow's roid rage, man. Someone should make that into a sketch. But you know, Canelo's protected too because he generates shit tons of money, bro. You can get the entirety of Madison Square Garden filled with Mexicans. All of it, every seat taken. Like, he generates too much money, man. But, alright, here
Okay. So what does this tell you? It tells you that it's fairly easy. Could they improve the testing? Yes. Could they lower these allowable limits? Could they use the carbon isotope ratio instead of the TE ratio test, which costs more money, like double, but much more effective? In the NBA, my understanding is they only test 4 times a year. Well, out of 82 games, that means they're testing what percent? A very small percent. And they only test them at the facilities. So this is important to understand. Drug use by elite athletes today is done at night. Olympic athletes have to fill out what they call a whereabouts form, letting them know where you are. And you have what they call a 1-hour window that you put on the form. I'm going to be at this gym for this hour on a daily basis, so many days a week. But they wait till after that time passes. Now you can do a microdose injection, and you've got the remainder of the evening and the nighttime. And by the time the morning comes, your levels are back down below the allowable limit. So this is very easy to circumvent. So they can use all of these drugs, IGF-1 with no detection, growth hormone, maybe it's detectable for 24 to 36 hours. EPO, they microdose and fly right under the radar. So you can use the big 3, as Chael Sonnen called them, with relative ease if you understand the use of drugs and the type of detection capability of the anti-doping entities. And you understand that it's fairly easy to guide somebody, an elite NBA player, let's say, to be able to use these drugs. And would they be effective? Let's just put it in perspective. Back in the Balco days, I worked with a sprinter who was number 8 in the world. And when I realized that, as an example, I was there in Seoul in 1988 when Ben Johnson ran 9.79 and set the world record and won the gold medal. And 48 hours later, all hell broke loose, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I don't know if you saw the documentary 979, but it was either 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 9 of the sprinters in that race later either had positive tests or admitted to the use of drugs. I don't want to say
gave it to Carl
everyone's
Lewis, I
doing
think.
it. I like to use the word the overwhelming majority. So when recently you said the basketball player said 70% in the NBA, somebody asked me this question recently. I said back in the Balco days, I would guess it would be 80% overall, all sports, a general number. And today it might be 60%, but it's still a majority.
Wow. And I think Jason Willock's going to ask him about it going down, but I'm going to stop the video there. He seems like, wow, I think it's going down, which is a good thing. But 60%, as far as Victor Conte's guess, is still a like every two play, like more than likely you're going to run into a flip a coin, and more than likely you're going to find a steroid user, or not steroid, but a PED user in a professional sport, according to Victor Conte, and that's insanity. And that's just him. It could be higher. It could be lower too. It could be lower, but it could be
that.
But it could be higher.
Yeah, trying to be that. Trying to get that generational wealth, Jordan.
I
Do
mean,
anything.
if LeBron's on it and he turns it into $2 billion, I mean, what could you say? If Brock Lesnar is able to, like, he was just egregious, and still no one gave a shit about it. It's only like particular athletes, like, I guess, like, people care about. Like, apparently baseball players. I don't know why that became like. Maybe because they were just breaking so many records in a short period of time.
Wait, Jordan. So Alistair Overeem was clean, right?
Not a fucking chance, bro. That dude's toenail would pop dirty for fucking roids. He was on so much shit, bro. If he spit, you could probably pick up the spit off the ground. It'll test positive. Like, if you did like a real test, bro.
Radioactive.
He spits on concrete and flowers start growing out of it, bro. He's on some shit. But yeah, it's here's what sports fans need to actually like really sit down and think about. And it's, do you really want your sports clean, or do you not care? Like, pick one or the other and then go forward with that. Because this thing of pretending things are clean because, you don't have Barry Bonds hitting 73 home runs, that, okay, oh, well, Barry Bonds is gone, so now all sports are clean now. It's so rare. You only catch like one or two every so often. So that means the sport's clean. If you want to live under that illusion, good, God bless you. Me personally, I want my sports fucking clean, especially as a former athlete. If you played sports before and you're seeing these assholes, you're like, man, how the fuck did he get here? And he sees, well, look at his exit velocity, or look at his 40-yard dash time, or look at his longevity in the NBA. Like, if you look at those, you're like, to me, it's like disgusting for athletes to do this, because there are people who actually under the illusion that they can be clean and compete with these guys. I mean, they can on skill wise, right? They develop a skill, but you're most likely not going to be physically up to where these guys are. And as LeBron James' career, whether he's clean or not,
or you get hurt,
yes, or injuries. Remember where you're like, fuck, I almost made it here, but I hurt my knee. Like, well, guess
LeBron,
what?
LeBron don't got that T-Mac.
Yeah.
T-Mac deterioration.
Yeah, which is why clean athletes should be standing up and willing to fund, like, especially like ex-professional athletes that are clean, willing to fund something under like with Victor Conte, working with him to get this thing, like, get the ball fucking rolling and try to figure out like what is going on in sports. Too much time has gone by where we've just let these guys run around willy nilly. I was watching videos today of like the early UFC fights, the earliest shit. These guys are all fucking roided out of their minds, bro. Out of their minds. Vitor Belfort, roided out of his mind. Mark Coleman, roided out of his mind. And these were the original like heavyweights of the UFC. What we see today, the clean little ESPN looking product, is built off that shit. Steroided fucking fools, steroided gorillas beating the shit out of each other.
Rampage Jackson, all of them.
Rampage. We already see like John Jones. He's still fighting today. He's been
Yeah.
popped several times. Have you seen McGregor blow up recently? He hasn't been fighting, but like, have you seen the size of him? Tell me at the ripe age of fucking like 34 or something, he's like, I'm just gonna add 50 pounds of muscle. It's like, but then we have this illusion as sports fans of like, well, they have professional training, or LeBron spends $2 million a year on his body. We have this illusion that like, oh, they just have something that we're not being able to like touch or use, right, or understand, because these guys spend so much. They have all the professional trainers in all the world and all that shit. Then you go to your local gym, you see some guy there, like super, like looks bigger than a linebacker, or as big as a linebacker. Like, wait a minute, you don't have all this sports training you don't have the all-world sports trainer. So like, I don't know, man. I think sports fans need to just make a choice. If you really want your sports clean, look at a guy like Victor Conte. Ask him what are the flaws and how to get around testing, and then plug those fucking holes up. Pause. Find a way to block these things of athletes getting around this testing, and then change the testing itself. Otherwise, well, just be the guy who doesn't give a shit. Like, I don't care if they're on roids. Fine. Then go there, I guess. I'll hate it. I'll hate it with all my fucking life. I'll hate it forever. But whatever, it's not up to me. It's just, do not walk around like a fool and just believe like, no, Hulk Hogan just took his vitamins, that's all. Don't walk around like that idiot that's waiting for these guys to get caught in a test, in the testing that we have today, in the investigations that we have today, and the blocking of fucking investigations that we have today, like the ESPN guy. Don't walk around and say, well, there is no cheating because they haven't found any evidence of it, or they haven't been caught. They haven't tested positive. Don't walk around like an idiot like that. Just say, I accept steroids, or let's actually do some real rigorous fucking work to make sure there is no cheating in sports, even though there'll probably still be. But by God, it'll be so much fucking harder. And you'll have a lot more cleaner athletes. So, I'm going to leave it at that. Anything you want to add, Anthony?
No, as far as it's good fucking information from Victor.
Yeah, he's a fucking genius, man.
What do I want to say? Something around what he alluded. You didn't play. I don't think you played that portion, but it's like, why? What vested interest do these owners have to catch their own players that they're paying millions of dollars? And in LeBron's case, everybody has a vested interest in him not getting caught.
Yes. The league.
The league, the people who pay the league to show the games, people who pay his sneaker deal, everybody, the team he plays on, literally everybody.
Current players. ex-players. There's a lot invested in LeBron James, bro. There is. I know that there's the older players who are like, oh, LeBron's not even in my top 5. But do they benefit? Does their names now hold more weight because a name like LeBron James has been here for 20-something years, and the hype and the build-up and even his downfalls are big news stories. It keeps the NBA relevant, which makes them relevant because they're in the league with them, or they're playing against them, or they did play against them, or whatever.
Yeah, here's where the rubber meets the road. These guys are like, it's all fun and games until you work. Like you work for these companies, and they're like, yo, we have billions of dollars invested in the NBA, and if we tarnish the product, they probably learned their lesson from baseball. You can't tarnish the product we're in business with.
Yeah. I don't even know how that even happened. That had to be like some outside investigative shit, right? With baseball, what was the kickoff of Roy's?
I don't know. Was it? Oh, well, Jose Canseco snitched.
Oh, Canseco's a big name. Yes, that's a big one. Fucking
No, but the Balco, wasn't there the Balco investigation? That was independent, right?
well, well, that was criminal, right? Criminal shit, and the
But it would
Congress and all that shit.
open the door. Dude, I remember on ESPN, bro, it'd be like every day. This pitcher got caught. This pitcher got caught. This guy got. It was every day on ESPN. This guy got caught. Like in 05, 06, this guy got suspended.
Yeah. Fucking I remember Mark McGuire had the shit just in his locker, just sitting there for all the
Yeah, the
cameras.
cream. Cream, right?
No, he didn't. I don't think he had cream. That's Bonds. Bonds had the cream. That was like the famous
I thought
cream.
he had. What do you have at his locker? He had a vial. Yeah, vial, right?
No, he had like a bottle of something, and I guess the camera caught what was like written on it, and it's just like behind them after a game. That kind of like I think that played a decent role in kickstarting things, but I don't know.
Okay, so
It
this is
was legal one
Wikipedia.
day.
This is Wikipedia, so take it for what it is. Doping in baseball has been an ongoing issue for MLB after repeated use by some of the most successful professional baseball players in MLB history. These banned substances found their way to collegiate level at the junior college level. Due to a lack
Oh
of
yeah.
funding and NCAA drug testing, the abuse of PEDs is most common, but they are also an issue in D1, D2, and D3. Several
Oh yeah.
players have suggested that drug use is rampant in baseball. In 2003, David Wells stated that 25 to 40% of MLB players are juiced. Then the Canseco 60 Minutes book, tell-all book, came out in 2005 that as many as 80% of the players use steroids. Ken, Ken, Ken Caminiti revealed that he won the 1996 National League MVP award while on steroids.
Yeah.
In 2009, after reports emerged alleging that Alex Rodriguez tested positive for steroids in 2003, a year in which he was American League MVP, he admitted to use performance-enhancing drugs between 2001 and 2003. Mark McGuire, dogged by allegations of PED use for years, admitted in January 2010 that he had used steroids and HGH off and off for over a decade, including in 1998 when he set the single-season home run record.
It comes kind of obvious when you lift weights and you're like, wait a minute. Yeah. What does Mark McGuire's forearms look like? What the fuck?
Yeah, he came into the league looking crazy.
Like, good God. And maybe the NBA needs a Canseco. Maybe you need something like that. Somebody who was like an all-star level, MVP candidate level, and then like kind of like maybe he's pissed off and frustrated that he's not like celebrated. He's not gonna he's not gonna be in the Hall of Fame. He's just like
Damn,
just had some
this
big
is
years.
fucking,
Maybe you need that
this
guy.
doesn't surprise me though. During the Pittsburgh drug trials in 1985, Several players testified about the use of amphetamines in baseball. Shortstop Dale Barrera, whatever, admitted that he had used greenies while playing for both the Pittsburgh Pirates and the AAA Portland Beavers.
That's
And
already
stated
admitted.
that while
That's already admitted by a lot of players.
and stated that while in Pittsburgh between 1979 and 1984, he had been supplied with the drugs by Bill Madlock and Willie Starger.
Yeah. Yeah, that was considered acceptable. Even in
Outfield-
modern days, it's
yeah.
considered acceptable.
It's still they consider it. Outfielder John Milner testified that while he was playing for the New York Mets, he had seen the locker room of teammate Willie Mays a powerful liquid amphetamine called red juice.
I mean, I'm not surprised. It's baseball. And what about fucking? I think George Mitchell, actually brought up in an interview. He brought up fucking what's his name?
You should look into his interviews.
Mickey Mantle. He's like, yeah, he took horse steroids, which fucks your body up, right?
His
But
knees were done.
it'll make you strong as shit, though. Like if you weightlift with it, it'll make you strong as fuck. You'll recover 100%. But they didn't have Victor Conte back then, so they're kind of fucked. Side note: Victor Conte was in some sort of like Moroccan band or some shit. I don't even know what it was. Spanish rock group or something like that. He's like a bass player or something, or a piano player.
You know what I want to hear more about? Rafael Palmeiro. I want to hear this guy's story. Because this guy, he wasn't the biggest guy ever, but he was like stocky.
Maybe we do something where we go through these guys, like their careers and shit, like especially the baseball players that got shit on by the Mitchell report. Like Palmeiro was like easy riding to the Hall of Fame. McGuire, easy riding to the Hall of Fame. Sosa, easy riding. Now they're fucked.
Many top players, including Canseco, Rafael Palmeiro, Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, and Kurt Schilling, were summoned on March 17, 2005 to testify in front of Congress.
Yep.
Schilling was summoned because of his outspoken opposition to the use of PEDs. During the session, Canseco admitted his steroid use, which he claims was perfectly acceptable during the 80s and early 90s. Palmeiro denied all steroid use during his career. While McGuire refused to discuss the issue, contending that he would be considered guilty no matter what he said. His repeated statement, "I'm not here to talk about the past," became the most highlighted moment of the proceedings.
He basically pleaded the fifth.
Palmeiro was listed in Canseco's book as a user along with McGuire. Denied Canseco's claims and told Congress that those claims were absolutely erroneous. The committee had stated that baseball had failed to confront the problems of PEDs. The committee was disturbed by the accepted use of steroids by athletes because it created a bad persona of players who in many cases are role models, blah, 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 blah. The Balco scandal. During this period, Bonds trainer Greg Anderson and Balco head Victor Conte, also connected to Jason Giambi and Canseco, were not subpoenaed in California by the House Committee for Investigation. As a result of pressure from Congress, baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association started applying stricter regulations and applied a zero-tolerance policy in correspondence to performance-enhancing drugs. On August 1st, 2005, Palmeiro tested positive. They were suspended for 10 days.
And guess what? That little ratio that Victor Conte brings up, that 4-to-1 ratio, like this is still happening, man. This is still happening in baseball today.
Once thought to be a lock for the Baseball Hall of Fame as one of only 4 players to have both 3,000 hits and 500 home runs. Palmeiro's legacy has since been called into question. His career quickly plummeted and he did not play again following the 2005 season after his contract expired.
I've seen him take at bats in like some overseas somewhere, like some maybe like a Dominican league or something like that, or a Cuban league, somewhere. I've seen him like take at bats and play. I think he smacked a home run too. Like, this is not to take away how good these guys are, like skill wise, right? It's just like if let's say you're like a really good player, but you might have burned out from fatigue or injury or something like that. That shit doesn't happen to you, to where fate would have had some other guy step in your place who maybe did have the ability to be have longevity with the way they played. To where it's like, yeah, that's cheating, man. You're taking someone's spot because you're either going around injuries or you're being like in prime shape, super powerful every fucking day. You go play baseball instead of having maybe more of a fatigue factor or something like that,
Okay,
or lack of strength factor.
I remember this. Yeah, I remember this fiasco. The Baltimore Sun reported that Palmeiro never offered an explanation for his positive test to the MLB arbitration panel, which ran contrary to his public statements. ESPN later reported that Palmeiro implicated Miguel Tejada to
Yep.
baseball's arbitration panel, suggesting a supplement provided to him by Tejada was responsible for his positive test. This supplement was supposedly vitamin B12, though it could have been tainted, and Tejada and two unnamed teammates provided B12 samples to the panel, which did not contain stanzolol. That's what Cano got suspended for. And I think it's a diuretic. It's something to make you burn fat.
These leagues, they tried to even make the steroid, like they did that with the UFC. They tried to make the steroid thing or the cheating thing look clean by saying like, "Oh, fuck, I took protein powder and I didn't realize this shit was in it." What was the John Jones things? I took dick pills and it was just contaminated and it's like, come on, man.
And both his brothers are fucking D linemen, bro. I'm sorry. How about? And they probably never get caught for what he got caught for.
Oh,
Meaning
true.
the testing is easier.
True. I mean, well, yeah, like Brock Lesnar just didn't even give a shit, right? I got popped, whatever. I'll go back to wrestling. He's still gonna be like, I still make my millions anyways. He's chilling. He had the fuck you card of drug abuse, bro. You get it like, fuck. If I get popped here, I'll go to the other one. I get popped there, I go back to the other one. Like, he's fine. Golly, man. Like I said, the crux of this topic, sports fans, figure it out. Do you want cheating or do you not want cheating? You can't sit in the middle because it's too easy to get away with it if someone's like trying to proclaim that they're clean. It's too easy to get away with. So take a stance one way or another and let your fucking whatever sports you're a fan of, or let them fucking know, and don't stop until you get the fucking answers you want. Otherwise, you're not gonna get anywhere. All right, that's the end of this video. Go watch Victor Conte on Joe Rogan's podcast too, if you want like an even longer form version of what's happening, and you get to hear some music from his band he was in, his funk band, wherever the fuck it was. All right.